You know that feeling you get when doing something you just love? That natural high. When playing pickleball, that Pickle High. David Randall, he knows a thing or two about it. He's on the court with me. It's the Pickle with Mickle interview series 0 0 Start. All right, welcome into another amazing interview, Pickle with Mickle. I am Mickle Moore, and I am excited today to have David Randall on the court with me, my virtual court from Pickle High. David, how you doing today?
I am doing great. Great. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate your time.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I mean, we had a couple attempts, folks, to get this done. We had to deal with some technological issues and then some weather complications, but here we are. And again, super excited. I appreciate your time. We've got a lot to get to, so I don't even want to delay. Before we get to anything, though, David, I think I've got to say, or we both should say, a thank you out to Ms. Alex Lynch. Without her, she wouldn't have gotten us together or given me some information to get a hold of you. And she's a great representation of Pickle High out there when she's dinking dirty on the court. And so just wanted to say a hey to Alex, and so glad to have you here with me today.
Yeah, thanks. And shout out to Dink Dirty. She's a great friend and yeah, a great ambassador on the court and all around fun to deal with. So really appreciate her connecting us. So
Absolutely. So let's get started. I know you've been really busy. You've got some great stuff to talk about, some things that are going on with Pickle High, some things you've got in the works, and just some other things you've been doing out there in pickleball. Let's just talk about how it all got started. I love the paddles with the states on it. And of course, I love the Zona paddles. You got the Colorado, got the Cleveland. You're in Cleveland, and you've got another partner of yours that trolls around here in Mesa. But take us back before we can jump into the present and future with just a little background, how your passion for pickleball started and how it just all has taken us to here.
yeah, no, I'll give you the quick version. It's kind of a long and winding road. After maybe about a 25-year career in branding, creative services, graphic design, writing, for advertising companies and 15 years of my own graphic design studio, so this is maybe 4 years ago, I decided it was time for me to launch a brand as opposed to developing brands for other businesses, small and mid-sized. And I came out with a couple nature inspired apparel lines that are still going strong. One is called Water High, and the other sister brand is Mountain High, sort of a celebration of the highs we get in nature, basically being in on or near the water or in the mountains or hiking. Just that euphoria, the notion of a Rocky Mountain high, sort of, if that puts it all together. And midway through developing these brands, I started playing pickleball and immediately saw, the passion for it, all kinds of different people on the court. The word addiction came out. God, this is so addicting. The first time you play it, you feel like you can hit it, and it's really addicting. It's not frustrating like golf, for instance.
Well,
And
it
I
can be.
decided it can be for sure, for sure. But long and the short, decided to add Pickle High to the line of high brands. So we've been at it just over a year, really focused in on pickleball. Brought a couple investors in a year ago, and it was their wish to say, if we want to make a run for this and do it the right way, we want you to put all of your time and focus in on the Pickle High piece of the business. That's what I've been doing for about a year, and we've learned a ton, and we'll get into whatever information I can give you. We learned a ton in the last year, a little over a year. My partner's Mark Iani out of Mesa, Arizona, originally from Cleveland, Ohio. And between the two of us, we've been out there and a lot of trial and error. We have a small staff of support people, and we feel like we're positioned in phase two. Phase two is 2025.
Awesome.
Position. We sort of found some openings, we feel, and we're gonna go. We're gonna go hard this year, and I'm hoping for good things. We have big plans. Small company with big plans.
Love it. I love it. Well, that's that. Pickle high attitude, pickle high feeling. Let's go for it, right? It's euphoria. It feels good because you mentioned pickleball is. I mean, addiction is a good word. Once you start to play, you get that pickle fever, and you want to keep playing, and it's a lot of fun. And I think you've got the gamut. You've got the paddles. You've got clothes. You even got mugs. And talk about, if you could, some of those you mentioned, we found some things. We want to go at this thing big, even though we're a small company. What were some of the initial obstacles that maybe you've run into, some of those hurdles you've had to get over, even in phase 1, as we look forward to phase 2?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, and I'm sure a lot of smaller companies that entered the space have experienced this over the past couple of years, is it's not a build it and they will come situation. It's not, let's source a paddle, let's develop a paddle, put it out there, and it will sell and people are going to flock all over our site. And it's not the case. We didn't think it would be. We knew it would be a little bit more difficult. The pickleball marketplace to me is really kind of a double edged sword. On one hand, the reason we entered it is because such the high growth potential.
Of
I mean,
course.
unprecedented growth, obviously,
Absolutely.
and sustained, and it will continue. So a lot of opportunity, a very ripe market. The other side of the sword is there's a lot of clutter, and it's very, very competitive because so many people wanted to get into it for some of the same reasons that we did. Um, I'll quote a famous coach, a Michigan Wolverine, Bo Schembechler. His quote to his teammates or his players are always has been, "Those who stay will be champions." So that's kind of the approach we have. Let's stay in this, and we're finding some success. You got to stick with it at least a couple years, and then you're going to find your openings and build a successful business. There's a lot of obviously larger companies in the space making it difficult, buying up facilities, athletes, tournaments, etc. So, but there, we feel there's a big, big space and a lot of room for the smaller companies to excel in the space, nonetheless.
And I think you're right, because a large portion of the growth outside of the pro attraction, pro tournaments, things like that, and where we might see this pro game go, regardless of what tour you might want to focus on, is me and other people out there who love playing this game are going to continue to play this game. And there's a huge market for that recreational player who necessarily doesn't need to have the paddle that X player uses, but wants a nice paddle that's marketed right, that looks cool, and is also priced effectively. And David, I think already you've got something that looks cool. I think you're marketed right. And from my lens, I believe you are priced effectively in this space where we're seeing, like you mentioned, some larger companies feel they can charge an exorbitant amount of money for a pickleball paddle. And I don't know all the super fibers that they might have going in there to be able to charge some of this. But I think where you are, it's a great midpoint in the space for a great looking, good playing paddle, because I've swung it a few times, and I know Alex loves it.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of parity out there. A lot of paddles. We feel we got a really, really strong hybrid paddle. It's kind of mid everything, mid sized, mid width, 16 millimeter. It's got a little extended grip
Like it.
for a two-handed backhand. It's got a great sweet spot, mid-weight, 8.1 ounces. So ours, the intention was to come up with a really, really nice hybrid paddle that does a little bit of everything. One reviewer last year on a national basis called it the people's paddle, which we loved because it doesn't do anything great, but it does everything really, really well. So we like that, and that's where we want to be. But as you mentioned, we do have other plans coming out soon for a couple different variations of our Elevation Pro 5 paddle,
Awesome.
seeing some different needs and some openings out there. And one I'll tell you right now is we're engineering a paddle. In our minds, it's the first paddle ever to be specifically engineered and marketed to senior players. You see a lot of power paddles coming out. You see a lot of, but we've been out there at rec centers and senior centers and interviewing 65 plus, and kind of taking notes on the wish lists. And I feel, oddly enough, that was used to be the biggest market and the fastest growing segment. Now it's not. Now it's 18 to 30, 35.
Yeah.
But there's still, I think they're
14
under,
to 25.
Yeah, 12 to 25. So that's one of the things we're looking at. We're really excited about coming out soon, and we're in the developmental process of that. I don't know. I've actually forgotten what your original question was, but
No, I think you got through it there pretty well. It was just about obstacles and things like that, and I think we covered that area pretty well. I'll go back a little bit. You dropped the Schembeckler quote. We got the Michigan lamp in the background. Big win
yes,
for the Wolverines this year, even though the other side ended up having to get their title this year. But now, Big Ten, you texted me, hey, they're on a roll, and we've seen a little flippity flop with the Big Ten here and is the mighty SEC scratching their heads a little bit? But hey, we could talk football all day. I'm going to ask you for a Super Bowl prediction later. Big year upcoming for the Wolverines. I'll give you that one. But let's
yeah,
keep talking a little Pickle High.
yeah, sounds good.
And so you mentioned that you've got some collabs coming up. One thing I noticed on your website was the military veterans and some things there for towards vets. How did that come up? Being a Navy brat myself, I think it's awesome and salute to anyone who's served. What's that all about?
That's just really, being out there in the courts and observing participation and participants and seeing realizing there's a lot of veterans out there. Obviously, I'm not going to lie, it's an opening to help us sell maybe more paddles, but it's also, we want to tie it in as a cause related product, where a certain percentage or royalty of each paddle is going to go back. And we're working with a few veterans organizations right now to determine who that partner will be. But obviously, there's a lot of veterans out in the court. Veterans are proud, very proud of their service. And, we want to help them show it off. Our paddles, we call it the side A, side B approach. Side A is our branded, Elevation Pro 5 Pickle High paddle. Side B is always different. Side B is Arizona, or a coastal vibe. We got a Texas paddle out there now, which is pretty cool. We have
Yeah,
Colorado paddle.
there we
There you
go.
go.
I put them up on
Yeah.
the screen
So
here.
the veterans idea was just another way. So side B will actually be a celebration of veteran service. So that's one thing we're looking at as far as new plans. But yeah, there's a variety, and we're planning on Mickle. We're planning on expounding upon that and adding some more regions,
Nice.
just to give it a little bit of added value. People are proud of where they're from and where they play.
And I think that's a great little niche that you're in there on because you're absolutely right. People love where they play. They might, grab a couple for their little local team that they have at the club or the group that plays in tournaments together. Great idea. And I like that there's some new things coming out. Let's talk about again back to challenges, things happening with USAPA and how they affect smaller pickle companies. I was talking with Kevin from Crown Pickleball last week. And are you aware of Pickleball Manufacturers Association? This is a group of pickle companies, pickle manufacturers that are kind of getting together to hopefully do some real good in the sport.
Yeah, no, I wasn't aware of them. We want to get involved in something similar. We're actually developing something we're calling the Pickleball Collab.
Okay.
Basically, it's just going to be more of a product um, based web presence where we just pool dollars together. When you feel like your voice, it's hard to get it heard out there in such a cluttered marketplace. Why don't we pool some like-minded smaller businesses together, showcase our products, whether it be paddles, maybe we feature 8 different paddles, a couple power paddles, a couple hybrids, a couple spin paddles, a couple graphic paddles, and maybe a senior um, with a paddle finder so people have more informed purchases, but all priced right, you know, right in the sweet spot, not overpriced. Uh, so that's one thing we're looking at doing. But really, I think the biggest thing is pooling content for a very robust social presence and some paid ads where you're putting the pickleball collab out there, and you have the ability now to be visible for the person out there developing a little gadget that you can attach your phone to the net to record your play, whatever. There's a lot of really cool products out there that smaller businesses are having trouble getting visibility. And so my thought is there's probably a large handful, 20, 30, 50 companies out there that may be interested in coming together with a marketing collab. So that's one thing I'm developing, and we're going to be launching that pretty soon and getting it out there and trying to sign up members to try it out for about 3 months and pool our resources, our
Yeah.
products, and our ideas together. So it's a really a collaborative environment.
I think that sounds incredible. And when we get offline, I might put you and Kevin together and you guys can have a little head shop workshop to see how maybe the two could intertwine and continue just to support, the small companies out there that, as you mentioned earlier, are in it to win it. You got to stay in. I think some folks thought if we do build it, they will come when it comes to paddles. And it was kind of like a .com rush of pickle frenzy, so to speak. And so I love the attitude and approach. Can't wait to see all the great things coming from Pickle High this year. Another thing that you mentioned to me, and I don't know if that's a little bit behind you, I think it is you're working with some apparel. Talk about it.
Yeah, we have a great line of apparel at picklehigh.us is our site, from women's leggings to on court shorts, compression tops, performance tees, caps, just the basics, fleece, hoodies, all branded Pickle High with fun graphics, and it's all print on demand. We do have some limited inventory of some of the merch, but we're adding gifts, and part of the collaboration will be actually adding other people's product to our site as well. But yeah, beyond paddles, we have a great line of some really cool. We're adding stuff all the time. Yeah, here's a pair of leggings right here on my friend next to me. But yeah, I think that the paddles are always going to be sort of the lead product in this business. There's a funny cartoon out there, and it has two lines, and the one line the sign says new paddles, and the other line the booth says pickleball lessons. And there's about 800 people in line for new paddles and zero people in line for pickleball lessons. So
So
it just
true.
goes, people love the technology and try, even though it's the player, not the paddle, but it's good to have a well performing paddle, obviously.
And just doing a little scroll on some of the gifts and accessories available, folks, right there at picklehigh.us is where you go to get some of this amazing stuff. So cool. I love the towels. I love the little socks you got there, the pillow. Great stuff.
Yeah, it all ships within 4 to 6 days. A lot of it's print on demand. You place the order, it's produced the next day and shipped out nationally or internationally. We're looking at different storefronts, adding a storefront to Etsy this year, and getting some merchandise on Amazon. So as we're getting conditioned to receive a product next day, we're going to have some merchandise available on Amazon as well.
In addition to maybe how you go about picking out the states for the paddles, is that you talked we talked offline about it before earlier, but shed some light on that and what we mentioned some regional paddles might come out. Anything you might be able to toil for the people, and that's a toiler, part teaser, part spoiler of a new state.
Yeah, I mean, part of it is obviously hotbeds of pickleball, and the other part was based on our presence, where we have people. My partner Mark's in Arizona. We're selling a lot of Arizona paddles. Obviously, Florida. It's where we also had some people we knew that would be ambassadors, people on the ground selling, at facilities, meeting players, instructors. We're building our ambassador network every day. So anybody who sees this and interested in selling some Pickle High product, we make it really easy. We ship you the product, and then we don't require ambassadors to pay in advance for the product. We'll ship
Nice.
it, which makes it easier. There's no cash out investment to be an ambassador.
That does. It makes it easy, and hopefully you're getting some great traction with that.
Yeah, and we're learning the best types of ambassadors to bring in, all different age groups, occupations. But yeah, as far as states, we have some plans for North Carolina and Michigan and maybe some more southeastern states. We want to have a big presence in California, so we're definitely working on different pockets. Actually, Utah, one of the top states, and we're
Well, I like the North Carolina idea. I mean, I need a pickle high paddle. I definitely need a North Carolina pickle high paddle for sure. That'd be awesome.
yeah, and I'm an Outer Banks guy, and
All right.
see, I painted this surfboard. It's got the old lighthouse on there and
Yeah.
that pattern.
I was going to ask you about that. I was going to ask you about that. When's the last time you surfed?
Never been much of a surfer. I just collect old surfboards and pull them out and paint acrylics on them and just have them or sell them. I'm an artist as well. I've been a painter since I was 12 years old. So that's
Good
just been kind of a
stuff.
side. So yeah.
And with your background, do you help or do you design a lot of the things that we see on the website? Does that come from your brilliant mind?
Not a brilliant mind, but it comes from this mind, is for sure. Everything. I design all the paddles. I built the website. I kind of run our social media presence. And back to Dink Dirty, Alex has been helping a lot to that regard. But yeah, a lot of it's coming in house, and we have a small support staff that I kind of export work to, and we need it, and hoping that we'll require some more full time people coming up. But yeah, I'm doing. This is the creative department and the shipping department, to be honest with you, coming out of this office. So
That's what that's what makes it so great. And so we're
yeah.
coming into phase 2 with Pickle High in 2025, folks. We've got this collaborative idea that I can't wait to see come together. A lot of folks from the Pickleverse are going to be involved. New paddles coming out too soon. So go to the website picklehigh.us. David, when was the last time you played pickleball? Where are we playing in Cleveland these days?
These days we're playing inside for sure.
Where?
Just different clubs, whether it's your local country club or athletic club. There's a few new franchises popping up.
Okay.
There's a great big one out in Avon on the west side. It's called Premier Pickleball. There's a new one nearby in Solon, Ohio. Ace Pickleball's in town.
Wow. Okay.
So there's 4 to 5 or 6 maybe, or even more that I'm unaware of some of the dedicated pickleball facilities coming into Northeast Ohio for wintertime player. In Cleveland, Northeast Ohio, you're safe playing outside maybe 6 months out of the year. So
unlike here, where actually, if I had more of a window view, you would see gray clouds in the sky. It's not a mirage, and it's nothing that anybody is fooling anybody. It actually rained a little here today, believe it or not.
good. I'm sure you could use it.
We could
But yeah,
always use it.
I was tempted to take a walk in just a t-shirt today because it was a balmy 28 or 38 degrees here. Anyhow.
Throw the shorts on, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So fun. Having a great time with David from Pickle High. So, as we evaluate the game of pickleball right now, and I mentioned before, some of the things that have come out that it could be challenges to young companies in regards to registering a paddle to get the USAPA stamp of approval. From your own kind of just your lens, your perspective, are you a watcher of the pro game? Do you have a favorite player?
I'll be perfectly honest. I'm not a big watcher of the pro game. I'm more of a student of the amateur world out there, and what the amateur, meaning beginner to 5.2, whatever you have. But the amateur game is what interests me the most, and how it's evolving from more of a senior type perspective. And just over the past 4 years, it's just becoming the coolest thing for teenagers to start playing. And so, yeah, I'm not a big student of the pro game as far as players. Um, I'm interested in the business aspect. It's very interesting to me to see where the dollars are going and the investments are going to pro teams and pro leagues, and how that's all going to shake out. Celebrity involvements, I think, is pretty cool. Former, tennis stars. So I watched the whole thing, but I guess I couldn't even tell you who my favorite pro. I'll go back. Dink Dirty is my favorite player.
There you go. No problem there. She's a good player. Hey, she might be on
Yeah,
pro podium someday, and you never
absolutely.
know.
She's on a quick ascension for sure. Yeah.
She's on a great arc, excuse me. And there's some professional podcasting right there. Anyways, I mean I like what you said, and I like how you mentioned watching where the dollars are going, because I see too a lot of, you mentioned the huge place that just opened in Northeast Ohio, and we see new places opening around here in Pickle Zona all the time. I see a lot of dollars going into what I call pickle places, and whether they are pure pickleball variety, or we see these chicken and pickle types, more of that model, more of a Top Golf pickleball type of a place as well. And it'll be interesting over the next few years, the sustainability of some of those versus companies that entered pickle apparel retail space too. Because I know just locally, when the weather isn't so hot and we go back outside, you've got to maintain occupancy in places like that, just like we've got to maintain paddles being sold online through ambassadors, et cetera. And so I think the whole dynamic of that is a fascinating watch. And back to how you mentioned a little shift of the sport itself, where you used to think, well, that's what we'll play when we're 60. No, we're seeing young folks, male, female ages, I mean, young, and they're getting good at the sport. And I think that's going to continue to charge it a little bit from what I call still a fringe to, if they really want it, to be that tier sport. And I think it will get to the Olympics, just probably not until 2032.
Yeah, I think the Olympic situation is purely global coverage. How many countries are, but yeah, that's coming for sure. I mean, I it's to me, it's it's a little like chess. There's so many different strategies. It's not just a real simple. There's a lot of different ways to play the game, and some of these younger. I remember last summer playing out at some community courts in our neighborhood in the afternoon, and we're banging away, and then about 8 boys came, teenage boys, fresh off of football practice. That was their cool down. Is like, just go banging around and play pickleball. That really was an eye opener for me. Here's these 16, 17-year-old, you know, kids coming off the football field, and their preferred activity right after practice was,
Was to
let's
play
go play
pickleball.
pickle. And they're banging it. But the cool thing is, they start off that way, then they realize, um, the more control you have, the better of a player you're going to be. There's a great pyramid I saw recently, the importance of your game, and the top of the pyramid, least importance, was power, and it went down to spin and this, that, and the foundation of the pyramid was accuracy and control. So if you
Accuracy, control,
yeah,
consistency.
yeah, consistency for sure. Yeah, if you talk to really good players who win these 5.0 tournaments, and you ask them, how'd you do that? How do you play so? What's your secret? 9 out of 10 will say, I know where to put the ball, and I'm very, very accurate, and very, very good placement wins.
Yep, that's what all. I mean, that's what frustrates me is you're sitting there, you're up there, you're getting it going, you're getting it going, and you're like, oh my gosh, it's just same time, right back, angle, angle, and then I mess it up. I pop it up a little bit. It's just like, oh, I have to look over at my partner and go, sorry, buddy.
Yeah, yeah. There's so much to it. I think that's probably one of the main reasons. It's not one of those things you play for a year or 6 months and you get sick of, because you're you're improving every time you play. You're getting a little bit better.
And then you also mentioned it as part of the this pickleball collab that you're working on, and that we'll see this year. Mini accessories, ways for smaller companies to get out there. I had a guy in the Uber right ahead of the Boise State game, and he's got a pickleball picker upper. So it's basically a stick to help folks pick the ball right up off the court. And I mean, so definitely, I love what you're doing, and to help bring these people together. And as I can continue to support you, I'm more than happy to.
I appreciate it, Mick.
Other things from Pickle High that we can kind of expect this year, other things you want to talk about that you've been working on or upcoming before maybe we get into a little fun, have a little speed 'em up rounds, hit you with some fun questions.
No, I think we've covered it. I think the two main things I wanted to just kind of introduce with you is this new paddle we're engineering for seniors. I got a little bit of pushback on that, with people saying, no, 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 we got to go up. We need a
More
pure
power
power.
paddle.
And I'm like, there's a lot of power paddles out there, and we'll get there. We'll have our own release, sometime within the year. But I just feel we are underserving the senior players who are looking something that's made just for them, instead of having to pick through, 10 different variations. Here's a paddle that's engineered just for you, based on interviewing the marketplace, the ones, and then it wouldn't be for everyone. That's
Will
the main,
that
yeah.
will that senior paddle be, are you working on it to be any quieter? Are you working with any quieter surfacing to the paddle, or it's just going to be more designed for the senior player?
Hopefully a little bit. There's some new technologies as far as construction of the core that is quieting the game a little bit. So hopefully that will be addressed. It's something, maybe a talking point, but really it's going to be lightweight, thinner, little bit of a thinner grip, very, very lightweight. We're trying to keep it under 7.5 ounces, thinner, but with performance assets. It's still going to have really nice raw carbon surface, so you can get all the performance out of it. It's not going to beat up your wrist or your elbow.
Nice.
So we're looking at a lot of just different common. It's not. I don't think it's rocket science yet, but it'll specifically be engineered for the senior market.
Instead of elevation, you could call it relaxation.
It could be the relaxation. We struggled with the branding. I'm still working on that. I think it's going to be the Elevation Light, however.
Okay.
Yeah,
LT
LTE, LITE.
LITE. All right, I like it. There we go. We're putting it back and forth. All righty. So let me warm you up with some softballs. First, how's your third shot drop?
It's really good when I do what I'm supposed to do, when it's actually a third shot drop. I have a tendency to want to just hit that third shot back and keep them deep, but um, it's getting better and better. The one visual that's really helped me the most as far as any kind of online coaching is trying to arc that third shot about 5 feet before the net. Instead of instead of peeking over the net, peek it a little bit before the net, then it's going to fall down in that zone.
Great advice. Great advice for anyone who plays pickleball because you mentioned it before when the kids after football practice come out and they just want to start banging the hell out of the ball. A lot of people I see are starting to try to, take it out of the air, tennis volley style, a few feet behind the court. And if you are a 3.5, level rec player, you're not going to hit that shot a lot. It looks cool when you see somebody really good do it. Work on your dinks, work on your drops. You have a lot of fun with the game and you might win a few too.
Right.
All
Absolutely.
right. So I've got to preface this by saying originally, folks, we were going to meet before Christmas and then we got sabotaged by weather before the new year. So I'm still going to throw a few Christmas themed things at you for a minute. First of all, pumpkin or pecan pie?
A pumpkin.
All right, pumpkin pie guy. Do you like pumpkin spice stuff?
A little bit,
All
but
right.
not a whole lot.
All right. I'm not a big pumpkin spice guy, so I just got to put that out there. Did you go caroling or have you gone caroling in the past?
Yeah, absolutely. We live in a neighborhood with about 350 homes. I've been there a long time, and every few years we get out and carol. And people still, the younger people don't quite know what it is. Like, why are these people in our front yard singing? But that's part of the fun, right? Surprise them.
Yeah. They're thinking, what's this weird cold? Is this an Instagram thing? Well, what's happening out here?
Are we supposed to answer the door? Or are we supposed to hide?
Yeah, don't answer the door. They told us never answer the door. Favorite Christmas movie?
I love the old Charlie Browns, but I'll give you a controversial one. I love Die Hard one.
There you go.
There
People
you go.
forget that Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
So is Lethal Weapon. They're both Christmas movies. And then
Right.
Scrooged. I like to watch all three.
Yeah.
One of my favorites is still The Year Without Santa Claus. It's one of my favorite animated one with the Heat Miser and Cold Miser, and it's just classic.
Still great. Still great. Yep. It takes you back to being a kid for sure.
Absolutely. Dream pickle destination.
Whoa. I would say somewhere in Europe, maybe somewhere over in the Mediterranean, and play with some Europeans. Obviously near a beach, but
Okay.
yeah, just near a beach, and I'm fine.
Right on, right on. So you mentioned playing with some Europeans, but I always like to do a variation of who's coming to dinner, who's coming to pickle. So this could be anybody, famous entertainers, old ex-presidents, sports people. You're on the court, three people joining you. Who would it be?
Wow. Oh, it could be anybody, like ex presidents. All right,
Anybody.
let's go. Let's start there. Abe Lincoln probably would have been a hell of a player. He was 6'5". He'd be great up at the non-volley zone, right?
Yeah.
You probably weren't expecting to hear that.
I love it. We got Honest Abe and Dave out there on one side. Who's on the other side?
Gosh, who's on the other side? I'll go with an athlete, one of my favorite athletes, Charles Woodson.
Ooh,
Charles
nice
is the
pull.
right.
Does he pickle? I bet he pickles.
I don't know, but I can imagine he'd be a hell of a pickler.
I bet he does. He looks like a guy who's playing some pickle, man. Him and Breeze. Drew Brees probably got all these ex NFL guys pickling, and they are just going to storm the National Pickleball League. I think he's starting to get involved with too.
Yeah, it's fun to watch those guys play.
Yeah, they're so good. I've seen Larry Fitzgerald play, and the same competitiveness from the football field he takes right onto the pickleball court. The guy does not want to lose, and he's so fast and good. It's just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Um, so we have a ex-president. We have a former athlete. Gosh, we got to have a musician in there.
Okay.
Who would be good on the pickleball court as far as the music? Mick Jagger. How about that? He gets around. He gets around the stage. He'd probably play a little bit. He'd probably love our new senior paddle.
Now you could call it the Pickle High Mick or something like that. Not after me, but after Mick Jagger, right? That's a great foursome. We got Abe Lincoln, Charles Woodson, and Mick Jagger and David here on the court, pickling it up. And we round robin it around for the partners. I love it. All right.
There we go.
last series you binge watched on any of the streamers? Do you do that at all?
Yeah, not a whole lot. I love watching documentaries. Gosh, what's the last one I
What's a good one
streamed?
that I need to watch? A good documentary.
Couldn't even. There's a bunch of new documentaries on Amazon Prime. There's actually one on Abe Lincoln. There's one on George Washington. There's one on Teddy Roosevelt. I love watching historical documentaries, and they have a slew of new ones
Okay.
um, that are 2 hours long, and they're interviewing former presidents with their historical take on these individuals. But yeah, look for those. I'll just give you. I haven't binged a lot. I saw a really good movie last week. That was. I think it's up for an Oscar for best animated. Great, great movie. Great graphics. Great messages. It's called The Wild Robot.
Wild Robot. Okay.
Yep, fantastic. Yep.
I have to put that down on my list. I haven't seen all. I try to usually watch a lot of the pictures nominated for Academy Awards. I'm gonna get that one on my list. I've seen a lot of them. I haven't seen the Amelia Perez deal. I have seen, and I tell everybody about The Substance. This is the one where Demi Moore won the Golden Globe. I'm not sure if she's nominated for Academy Award. I would think those usually go like at least you get nominated for that. Freaky, trippy movie. If you like that kind of thing, check it out. Just throw
Yeah.
that out there.
I'll put it down.
Yeah, it is a wild ride. That one is.
Good.
Speaking of wild rides, now we talked a little Michigan football. Go blue. Who's winning the Super Bowl?
Saquon Barkley's winning the Super Bowl.
That's not a bad pick. I really think the Eagles can do it. I wouldn't bet against the champs. You just can't do it. I wouldn't bet against Belichick and Brady. I wouldn't
No.
bet against Mahomes and Reed. I think this Eagles team can do it. Saquon should get 35 touches in that
Yeah.
game and just see what happens.
No, absolutely. Yeah. It'd be nice to see someone different. I was rooting for the Bills pretty hard. I'm sure a lot of the country was, but you know,
I was rooting for him just not to run a quarterback sneak after, like 10 of them.
I know. You got to love the Chiefs. You got to respect them. They're unbelievable. It's a dynasty, but yeah, it's time for a new king of the castle. But yeah, looking forward. It should be a good game.
I think so. I hope so. I hope the commercials are good. I've always liked the commercials lately. I think they've gotten a little stale. Maybe they can step their game up.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Now, living in Cleveland, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame's in Cleveland, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
What's your music, genre? What do you get into? What's your favorite band?
Going way back, I've always been a big Pearl Jam guy.
Can you see that?
Yeah, I can't make out what it is though.
That's Rolling Stone, Pearl Jam on the cover.
Nice. That's a
Back in
good
the
one.
day, that's circa 1993.
Okay. Yeah. Always been a Pearl Jam guy.
Me too.
I love country music. I love singer songwriter music. My daughter and I refer to it as campfire music because I think singer songwriter is kind of a bad genre, but campfire music's cool. I love oldies. Oldies meaning 80s, 70s.
Yeah. Was a last concert you went to?
Last concert, oh my, was speaking of oldies, it was this summer outside at a big outdoor venue we have in Northeast Ohio. We went to see the Doobie Brothers,
Get out.
which was too cool. I mean,
Yeah.
it was like the 50-year anniversary, and I'm in my mid 50s. I felt young at that concert, so it was kind of fun. So yeah,
Yeah. I went and saw Counting Crows not too long ago. And but I'd go see the Doobies. That'd be great. I saw the Almonds a long time ago. And so I mean I like a lot of that kind of folky music and the grunge music from the 90s. I mean I'm 52, so I'm right there with you. I'm a product of the
yeah.
90s, and all that fun music.
But I love the new stuff. I mean, I'm a big fan of love Lady Gaga. I mean,
Oh,
you can't get much more talent than that.
no, no. Lady Gaga, tremendous talent. And I mean, she has a supreme singing voice. When you hear her do like songs you wouldn't expect her to sing, you realize that she can really sing.
She's effortless. The less she tries, the better she sings. So
So you can't use Gaga for this one. Current
yeah,
celebrity crush.
that's a tough one. Current celebrity crush, man. So kind of a weird one. I think the one lady on MSNBC, Stephanie Rule, is really smart and kind of cute too.
All right.
That's
I
just
mean,
me.
like a educational pool, right? Usually we get, actresses and Charlize Theron and stuff, but all right, I like it. An educated man. That's right. Having a great time here, David from Pickle High. You can find all of the amazing things from paddles to socks to coffee mugs and new things probably coming soon at picklehigh.us. Folks, go there, grab a paddle. They're good, they're fun, and keep your eyes out for all of the great things coming this year. It's only phase 2 for Pickle High, but a lot of great things. David, I've really enjoyed having you here on the court with me. As we finish up, any other things, any last things you might want to plug, any other things that you want to get out there for the people? This is the People's Show. You got the People's Paddle. You're on the People's Show, Pickle with Mickle. It's all working out.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think we have the people's brand, and I think the original intent is what's a brand that best describes the experience of playing pickleball, the lifestyle, whether it's during you're playing, after you're playing, you're feeling good, you're feeling, it's the Pickle High. We will sort of intend to make that a thing. Where'd you get your last Pickle High? Oh, it's Saturday. I played with a bunch of people. We had a blast. So that's what we're here to promote, is all the positive aspects of the game, whether it's mental, physical, it's just a really healthy lifestyle. People have a lot of fun, and even the social element of it. I'm seeing 23-year-olds, instead of going online and doing blind dates online, they're showing up at pickleball facilities.
Right. They're standing next to each other like this.
Yeah, exactly. They're out there hitting together, introducing each other, playing for 30 minutes together, and saying, "Hey, that was fun. Let's go have a beer afterwards." So
yeah, I saw a group. I was playing with a group, and a mom and dad and probably 6 girls. It was a Sweet 16 pickle party, for crying out loud. I mean, so yeah. I think it's so awesome when you see stuff like that, or I see the kids out with the parents, or just even a group of kids, and they're playing pickleball. They're not knuckling around doing something dumb. They're at least out there having some fun, just like you and I had here today. I really appreciate you making the time for me on the show here, David, today.
Great. Thanks, Mickle. It was my pleasure.
David, the pleasure was all mine. I always have time for a Pickle High. Check out the amazing ways to get your Pickle High at picklehigh.us. Stay safe out there. Stay hydrated. I'll see y'all next time for more